Hi, this is Kelly from Connection Keeping, and I'm here to give you a little tutorial about how to use the newest set of the gradient templates. I focus this one on travel because Sweet Shop Designs, when you buy, I forget actually how much you can get a Wanderlust kit, but there's also sixlets, which are like small travel sections. So I think the travel templates for the summer are, for those in the Northern Hemisphere, are pretty appropriate. And I just want to show you how there's differences for each page. So these are the four pages. This one right here is my favorite, and we'll talk about it when I get to it. Again, this video is probably going to be like super long, so I apologize, and I'll try to put some stamps, like time stamps below, so you can just skip or just go through it or ignore me completely. I've got four kids, I'm used to it. Okay, so first one is this is the one that kind of inspired it all. I was kind of making a template and I was like, oh, you know what? The gradient template would really work well here. Anything that has like paint or different clusters of elements works really well with the gradient templates. I want to show you two versions that were made with this template and tell you how you can just kind of do things completely different ways. Okay, so first is this one that I made with Soko's beautiful kit. And I think it's called Happy Campers. Wait, let me think. Shoot, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Soko. But it's a beautiful camping kit. It has everything you need as far as elements and papers. I liked that it had a rainbow of elements, which works really well when you're doing gradient templates and you want to set it up as a gradient. So what I did is there's a whole bunch of, for the most part, for this gradient, all of the photos are, and the tag are like a traditional template. Like they're all individual layers. So you could take, uh, let me go. So you could take this photo frame and you can get rid of it, or you can scrap a paper to it. They're all different. They're all different layers, and so then the gradient template aspect of it comes in here. So this is the clusters. So this is the bottom clusters, and then there's the top clusters. And so I just want to show you here. Let's go back to these papers. So with this one that I created is I clipped papers and I made the background and the travel layer the same color and just gave a little style here where it's embossed, where it's a little burnt on the edges there. And then I I kept all of the clusters that were there and just added on top of them. So if I wanted to, like this has a string, and that's literally all I added here because this already had a cluster and it leaves it perfectly. I added this little tent and this word strip, and Soko put this adorable little like star cluster there. So I added that and I put all the elements on. And honestly, this page probably took me like, I want to say like 8 minutes to make, because after I put the pictures, sometimes for me picking the pictures is the hardest part. So I'd already had the pictures, but once I put them in, I had a little figuring out, like I went through like lighter and darker pages, and then it was easy because I kind of just, put the gradient in and I went from red to blue. Like it's red, yellow, green, and blue are the three colors I added to the gradient, or the four colors, sorry, I added to the gradient. So then I literally just go through her, the folder of all the elements, and I just pick the ones that match the color and I just put them in. So it actually goes by super fast. Okay, so that's that one. Then I want to show you the one that Heather H made, and I love it because truthfully Heather kind of used it like a regular template. So she used the aspect, she just clipped papers to the base, the regular, and then for the paint she just clipped a paper to it, and so and then she just made the invisible of the cluster elements, and so she just used, and this is using the Wanderlust bundle that I will also be using, and so you'll see how different they look, just one bundle, and how this template can go over and over and over again. I apologize, it's 7 a.m. in the morning, and so I apologize if I'm a little off. Okay, so then there's this one. Alright, and now this is what you get when you, here, let me just erase these. Actually, this is what you get when you get the file. Apparently, It's great that on Photoshop, if you save a white layer above, it makes the file smaller. So since these files are so big, and I apologize for that, I always put this, you can literally just delete this layer. You don't need it anymore. Next thing, always save your template as something else. So I go and I'll go into layouts and I'll put, this will be the video. Okay, so this is what you get. And the funniest thing is that you can actually, let me put some pictures in. In 2016, my family and I brought my son home from South Africa, and we had a layover in France for 14 hours or 16 hours on the way to South Africa for the first time. And so for 14 hours or 16, I forget, we were like, all right, well, if we are in Paris, we are most definitely going to see some attractions. So after a 9-hour flight, we got our 3 kids at the time and we took them all. Here, let's see, for this one, we took them to the Eiffel Tower and the Arc de Triomphe and stopped and had crepes and did all of the classic things you do in Paris. And so it was kind of a fun, I'm not going to use this picture, but I have to tell you the story because it's crazy. Have you guys ever done a flat Stanley? Well, my daughter's was going to 3rd grade and they had flat Stanley that year, and so that just means you like draw a little picture and you take it with you on your adventures. Well, we were on 3 continents that year, which is not something we normally do, and so she had like the best flat Stanley report she probably could have ever had. Okay, so I want to show you the first thing you can do is if you buy these templates, literally you don't even need to add anything. So if you had, so I take that back. This one has these papers, so you could erase these papers and still you would have a beautiful layout, and you could just write in here and you don't even have to do anything. Or you could have this beautiful layout, and here, let's start with the paint. We could change the gradient. First of all, so you open up the gradient by left clicking on change gradient here. And one thing you can do, so this one is for the clusters, is you move it around and you see how it changes where the colors are. So you can see I already changed it just by changing the angle here. And you just use your left mouse key, and or I guess if you have a Mac, you only have one mouse key. Sorry, I always forget that. And so you can just change everything this way. You can change by picking a different gradient. So I have gradients that I've used in the past. This one here is the Wanderlust colors. So I'm showing you that. Actually, this one might be Soko's colors, sorry. So you can just pick something totally different. And so if I do this, I have this is from Beach Magic. I can remember this one. So if I take this, and if you left click hold it and bring it down to plus, it makes an extra copy. And if you put it over wherever, wherever you see a gradient, you literally change all the gradients to be the same, so you get that continued layer. So you see how everything is now the pink and the teal and the purple, and so all of it's that is there. And then you could add papers that go with it, and you literally don't even have to do anything, and you have this beautiful page. But again, if you are excited, you can completely change it by doing some funny things. And so I'm going to try and do that here. Usually I have a page in mind already made, but I was like, let's just try it out and see what it goes. So the base is the first thing you can do. You can go dark, right? And so this is what Heather did in hers, which I thought was really awesome because the travel then sticks out. And if you go to the paint here, so like see this paint layer, you left click on it, you can add your own paint or turn it off. If you add your own, you might want to use the blend mode, and so I just wrote that there. But it might be fun, since those are white, to use the same here, and then when you do that, you want to make sure you turn off. And we can make that, and see how it says overlay? You want to use the blend mode or overlay. Like you could do it normal, but then it doesn't look as painty. How's that for a technical term? So I like to use overlay because then more of the underneath comes back. And I kind of like this because it's the same paper as I that I clicked to the back. You can do that, you don't have to. So here are the words. So I can take a lighter paper and clip it here, and so it gives some more excitement to the words. And so I think I'm going to go with this. And I think with all my clusters, I'm going to try and go pink and red, like here, or maybe like, I guess maybe because I'm seeing this, my daughter has purple on here and my husband has on blue, so maybe we'll go like pink since there's pink in this, and we'll see how that works. And I noticed that there's a pink paper here that looks like a world. What does that look like on the travel? Here we go, and we just clip it. And oh, I think I'm clipping it to the paint. I wanted to clip it to the words. Oh, and so then that actually looks kind of cool too. I'm gonna. Now, I'm sure as a scrapbooker you do this all the time. You're like, which one am I gonna choose? I think I'm gonna stay with the white. I like that better. Okay, so again, this is why I love these, is that they're all over the place, crazy, and you can do so many fun things. Okay, so now for the gradients. So I've already done the paint, so I don't need a gradient here. So now I have this bottom cluster. So if you click, you can see that, oh, so you see how when I click it off, you can still see that's where see this up here, it's where the magic happens. Let's open this. This is all the shading that goes in so that you can put any paper there or color dark or light, and you'll still see the texture. So this is, I call it where the magic happens, and then you can leave it. If you love Photoshop and you love to figure that out, you can just, oh sorry, you have to click off the group one, and then you can change these, like you can change your opacities and things like that. So I'm gonna just close that and put these back there. I think I kind of want to go pink and just leave it a color, and we just already talked about how you can change the gradient, but I do want to show you, here, let me find a paper that has the colors. So what I normally do is to make the gradient, like, so here it is, you see these colors, and picking the colors, I usually open the preview of solids, but I don't see a solids preview in this, which is my bad. So I'm just going to take a paper that has a lot of the colors in it, which is Allison's paper here, and I'm going to borrow some of the colors. See, I just brought it in. You just need, so like if you have a stripe paper with the colors, or if you have the preview again with the solids, you can use that to bring the colors into your gradient. So here's my gradient. And so this one, because it was the beach one, it has lots of these little color changers. You just click on them and you can delete to get rid of them. You can move them around. You can add new ones just by clicking in the spot, see? So if you click on one, you can delete it. You can click on it to make a new one. So these you just change color. So like if you wanted this, you know, so that's the way gradients work. And that's the whole magic of this. It's the whole magic of these templates. And I always find them so visually pleasing, gradients, that is why we have them. So I will, oh, you know what? Speaking of visually pleasing, wait, let me get rid of Allison's paper. I think, yes, in the Wanderlust, they have, oh, gorgeous. Wendy P made these beautiful gradient bokeh papers, and I wonder if I use this pink one here. Do you see how beautiful that is? I love it. I'm gonna clip that. And so now all of my, because this is the bottom cluster layer, all my bottom ones are pink. Let me go up to the top cluster layer. So here's top cluster, right? And so you could change the gradient here. Like if I deleted it, it'd be the old gradient, see? And all the elements that are top are here. I'm so sorry if I'm rambling. I appreciate all of you, and please just know I'm thankful that you're sticking with me through this. And so maybe for this one, I'll put the darker, Wendy's darker bokeh gradient, which, by the way, I'm a huge fan. And so now I have this very pink, blue kind of, you know, and that's how I'm going with the, like, that's going to be my color scheme for this. And to be honest, here, let me put some of these. Here, we'll do a light blue. Honestly, I have to tell Wendy how beautiful these are. And, oh, I love that. That was made, here by Lori. And then let me get, let's do this one. And we'll make this blue. Here we go. Alright, I'm doing this just quickly. You can do pattern papers, and all I'm doing is bringing in different papers. You know what? I don't like that they're both that kind of cardstock here. Let's do this one. I like having, if you can see, different textures next to each other, because back in the day I used to scrapbook with paper and glue and all those things, and I am always on the search of trying to make my scrapbook pages look as real as possible. That is why you have these elements that I made by trying to make it look like just rough on the edges, and I try to give shadows and anything to just like make it all stick out. So to be honest, it could be all done, and you can just write, and it looks great, and it looks different than the original. I mean, just so much by changing the background paper, you know, it changes the whole look. So the whole point of these layouts are so that you can have so many options. So let's go now into elements. You should definitely buy, like if you have a whole bunch of ideas, this is a great thing to go in and buy a lot this summer, so you can get this beautiful kit, which I love and you'll be able to use over and over again. So I'm going to show you how I move stuff in. So this is my Wanderlust kit, and I'm going to focus in on, well, maybe some reds, but mostly like the pinks and the blues, and add them to my layout. Okay, and so this is what I want to show you, because I used to put in a folder that was empty that I'd say put above elements here, but again, it just makes the templates so large, so I was trying to break that down. Here, let's just delete all of this because we don't need so many things, and we need that. Okay, so what do I want to do? Okay, so I'm going to add some elements. So first I'm going to this bottom cluster. Do you see where this is? When you click on something that's in the bottom cluster, it's going to take you to, actually this should have a thing. So when you click on the bottom cluster, it doesn't take you to where the magic happens because all of those are locked. It's going to take you to whatever color or gradient you have there. You want to make sure you go up to where the magic happens and you press plus to add a new layer to start putting your elements above this bottom cluster. Now, don't get me wrong, you can go to the paint and add a thing, and so you can have things that go underneath this bottom cluster, like here. Let's put this, how cute is this suitcase? Who made that? Kelly Bangs Creative made this suitcase, and it's adorable, and I want to use it on every layout. So I'm just gonna put that here. Okay, so I added that below. So I went to the paint level, paint layer, sorry, added a new layer and put that in there so it's behind. But now I want to go and add stuff above. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to click off. I'm going to click on this bottom layer. And again, it takes me to the color or the paper that I put on there. I want to go up to Magic Happens and add a layer. You can just, add. And so I'm going to add a flower right here. And it'll go underneath your other layers, but look. And so I can add this. Let's add this here. And then if I go to this one, this is the top layer. So you can see, because I have the this is above the tag. So this is the top layer. So I go to where the magic happens. I press plus, and now I'm going to add this beautiful flower by Kristen. And so I'm going to add that here. And so what happens is, so I only added this flower, and this suitcase. But really, because the template, this cluster is already here. So it just makes it look so full with just doing a little bit. So I always find these gradient templates fabulous if you have a mini kit, because then you don't have a lot of elements and you can just use it and it looks like a full lush page, but you didn't have to use that many elements. So put that there. This over here, I am going to, here, we'll just add this paper, because then it has like, I like when things have, and then I can put the star in there. So now I could write on my tag. I could add more things. Let's go back to the top again. So here's where the magic happens. I press plus so that I am in the right spot. What else can we add? Let's see. I am looking at my, oh, this is awesome to add because we all had to get some, and the pictures work great. And so, I mean the colors work great. And okay, so that's there. And I want to add, and again, you don't have to stick with the color scheme. Like, I just happened for this page wanted to, where the other page I went for lots of different colors. And I'm just doing that to show you that there's so many different ways you can do. So now this one has a car with luggage on top. But to be honest, I didn't, here, I'll click on here, because this is already on a higher layer, so if I know if I click here, I'll be good. This, we didn't use a car because we flew to France, and so I might cover that up because I tend to have like weird thoughts in my head, like, oh, this should be this way. Hold on, my computer is feeling a little bit like, hey, oh, there we go. So I'm going to put this here. And there. And one more. So the flowers I leave open because buttons, brads, little elements you can stick in. So here we go. We'll go here, and here is Tracy's cute little button, and I'm gonna put it right there. And I might take Kelly Bangs Creative again and put hers right there. And I just kind of add things as I go. Oh, this one will be fun. I can add this one. And this is really how you use the gradients. I think the most important thing to remember is how to pick an appropriate gradient like color by picking the colors off. Did I really do this? We'll do it in the next page, but figuring out your color scheme and doing that. And I feel like this one needs something. What I might do is if we go to the cluster. So if you click on it in your thing, then it'll give you a spot when you're in your layers lab. So I go up to where the magic and I press plus, and I want to put something right here. And I thought this is, let's see, what else do they have? There are so many cute elements in this kit. I like can't even. Here, we can do this heart because there's a lot of red. So again, if you have, so you see how it brought it to this layer and I get this like square. I'm sure this happens to you all the time, and sometimes you move it up or down. If you just press shift and you like move it a little, you get this X, and then you can move it without having to like, once the X is there, it moves with you. I don't like moving things in my layers because I know that that's the spot I want them. And oh, there's another one here. So I go click on it. I'm going to click on where the magic happens and add another layer above. What should I put over here? You know what? I'm just going to put a flower. And it goes there. And my layout is done. I guess I should probably save my layout. Save as, let me just make sure I saved it in a different spot. Yes. Okay. Yes. And then it's all set. Okay, so now let me show you the next one. Thank you for sticking with me. I feel like we're all hanging out today. It's kind of fun. Okay, so there's this one. Oops, that is the JPEG. That is not going to do you anything. So here is the airplane one. And you're going to, I like to delete that layer. Like, just get rid of it. And I'm going to, again, save as a different spot. Sorry. Layouts. And we'll call this one video. Okay, so if you Control H, gets rid of the lines that I used to make sure everything was in aesthetically pleasing spots. So the so this one is kind of like a fun like travel like plane. So this would have also been a cute one to use for those pictures that I had. I want to show you that this one, if we go to layouts, these are the layout things I've made with it. So the first one with the Wanderlust Wanderlust paper is here. And so I used it like Heather did, where you can still see I have the underneath cluster, but I added so many elements that you can't even really see the cluster. They just add a little filler in the background, but I didn't really use the gradient aspect. I clipped papers to it. So this is the one I made, and then M from the Nifty Pixel made this like really cute, let me put this here, this really adorable breakfast kit called Brekkie in Bed, and that comes out this week too, so you can get it for on sale. And sorry it doesn't look clear, it's because it was saved at 700 so that we can use it as a preview, so ignore it. I have the it would it would look crystal clear. And what I did is I just erased the planes. So like when you look at this, the planes are on their own separate level. So I just erased the planes and I just added the food, and so it doesn't even have to be a travel. And you can see here that there's some of the cluster left over, and it just gives like more layers to the layout, but mostly I just added cute elements from her. And I added this beautiful edge that she had, and so you can tell it makes totally different papers. So things into this is, yes, you can get rid of all the planes, you can move the planes, like you can do whatever you want. If you want to put something on top of the plane, here, let's go back to the Wanderlust and let's pick a paper here. Let's use, like, say, we'll use kind of a solid paper. Okay, so say we wanted to make, oh, that's on the yellow. So say we wanted to make it similar to this gradient, and so it's on an orangey yellow spot. And so I put this here. All right, and then I'm going to clip it to the plane. If I go to overlay, let's see how it makes it white with just a little bit. The other thing I can do is here, make this normal. I can take this and copy it. So if you hold it down and do this, okay, and so we're going to bring that above. Okay, so this is the above, and we're going to change this. We're going to get rid of the style, clear layer style, and change this to, you see how you're changing the blend mode so you can darken it. Multiply works kind of well. Color burn, linear burn. I like the way linear burn looks the most. These make it white. Overlay, soft is too much. So the overlay is great, except because overlay is usually like the one to go for, but because the planes are white, the white part also overlays onto the thing and it changes the color, so it makes it yellow, which you might like the look, but I think I would like linear burn. And I might take this paper and move it so that the grain is kind of going with it. But, and if you're like, I want it to be darker, you can go like this. Just, oh, sorry, you can't see what I'm doing on my keyboard. Control J makes another version of the layer, or you can just plop it down that way, and you see how it gets darker. Or you could do one linear burn, and you could do one, no, the overlay is still not great, but you could do a soft, and so it gives it a lighter color. But all of this to say that the template gradients are to make you, let's see how to say it, like to really like delve into how gradients work, how blending modes work, and so they're really just fun to play around with. And so remember, you can just go in and you can change the colors. You can pick any colors you want. If you click on this, you can change the color. I'm gonna make it some crazy colors so you can see. So you can change it, and then once you change it, you can press new over here and it adds it here. So now if I wanted to go, so I added this to the base and I wanted to change this one, I can go here, and if I go all the way, so if you click the little arrow next to it and I go all the way down, I can click and have that same gradient to use without having to copy and paste. So say, oh, this is for stitches. So if I want to change the stitches one, click, new one, and I go like this. And look, now the stitches match the color, and you can go and do everything. One thing I want to show you about this is the confetti is its own thing. So you just clip a paper to it as normal. If you wanted to use the gradient, you can, again, Control J or bring it down and put it over it. And now my confetti is the same gradient as the paper. And let's go to the cluster. Here's the cluster. Change gradient. And these are some obnoxious colors, but just to give you an idea of how quickly it can change, or you don't have to put the clusters as a gradient. They could be all one color if you know you're going to add other things. And so that's this paper. And no. And let's get to the third. Okay. The PSDs are big, like the Photoshop files. The TIFFs are smaller. I don't really work with TIFFs that often, but TIFFs are often because you can see the picture when you're looking at it, so I know a lot of people like TIFFs. So this one is my favorite. I think it's my favorite just because I like the way it looks. Like, I think it's so pretty. So let me show you what I made with this one. Oops. I should not put it into the gradient, or that wouldn't work. Oh, okay. So first I'm going to add another layer. Alright, and so this is a town I lived in a long time, and it has my heart. And so I used Tracy Reed's. She has, oh, I need to remember the name of these. It's about like girls, oh, like Ladies Who Brunch or Besties Brunch. Maybe it's Besties Brunch. And it's like a girl power, like best friends having tea kind of thing. And these are my great friends. And we all lived in Norristown. And so so I took, for Tracy's, she had this awesome paper that, actually Tracy just had a solids thing. And I brought the solids preview in here, and I just made the gradient. Oh, you can't see it. Oh, here it. I'm pretty sure if I bring in the PSD, it's going to be huge. Let's see. Yes, my computer could do it. So here's the gradient. It's beautiful. And so I had to add extra one of these because the gradient only comes with 3. So I added extra dots, and you literally just left click along and it adds them. And then remember, and then you can touch them and delete it too. And so I just use the colors from her solid papers. But sometimes, like, someone will have a striped paper or something that has all the colors you need for your gradient. Or you can make your own gradient. And I made this one. Let's see. But I want to show you this one that Shirley made. I keep forgetting that. All right, so go. So you don't forget. When you click, it's just going to go to the top layer, which for us is add paint to this Explorer. And so you got to make sure you add a layer. And now I'm going to show you, Shirley made this. You might know her by Nitis. Here. Okay. And I am in love with this paper. So she used this background paper that is like light blue bricks. And then on top of it is the gradient of, you see this? This is a city block gradient that I kind of turned into paint. She used it on top, and with this gradient that looks so good with the teal. I was in awe. And then she used the rest of it mostly like a regular template. She changed the color of the edge. She wrote her own words, and she used her own elements. And so she used the gradient and the regular, and so I thought that was cool. So again, when I made mine with the Norristown, I got rid of Explore. You can end the Explore mat. And I wrote my own words, and so did Shirley. Okay, and then let's see, anything else that's different about this one? So there's the cluster. Again, if you want to get rid of the cluster, don't just turn off the cluster layer, also turn off where the magic happens, and then it disappears, and you can add your own stuff on there. And that's it. You can get rid of this if you just want to add a regular paper. You can like put a splatter down and then add this. So like say here, let me make sure I don't again, always save as something else because you don't want to lose your thing. So I'll save video. Okay, so if I take this and I make it all in one, I have this whole layer that's this thing of like the city block. Well, I can add another layer, and I can do brushes. So I'm sure you all have your brushes set up in different ways. Alright, let me get some paint in here. This isn't going to be great because I'm not going to take the time to do it, but if I can do like this. So then I made this paint layer. Well, I can then clip this to the paint layer. Again, yours would be a beautiful paint layer, not this crazy like thing. And you can clip the paint to it. And so I like the way that looks. All right. And the last but not least is here. If I bring here. The last but not least is the ticket one. Okay, so this is the one I made with my house honors kit. This is what you will get. You will get the paper, delete that first layer, and you get this. And so it has tickets, so it can be like airplanes, things like that. But also, it could be like movies or the play or anything that you need tickets, or a carnival. Oh, I know there was a Sixlit that was amusement parks. Anything that's, you requires a ticket. I also made it so that a lot of these are blank, so you can put in your own things. And some different things about this one is the actual, here it is, the actual ticket words. You could turn them off completely and just have it that way, or you can change the color. So if the colors you're using, black looks better, and if you need it to be darker, you can do it twice. And so there's flexibility there. You can make it different in that way. You can change the gradient or make it a solid color. You can change the base, and you can go up and you can get rid of, and so here's all the photos, and so they all go there. And then for this one, the shadows, I tried to make the shadows a little warped. So usually my shadows for templates are connected, and it's just like a simple drop shadow that I add using layers. But this one I tried to warp them a little bit, so there is a shadow layer, and so you can move that around if you'd like, warp it more, anything that you know. Or if you have the thing, you can actually add a shadow also, and you get double shadow. I like the way that looks sometimes if I'm being dramatic. Clear layers there. Okay, and so then there's the cluster. And so the cluster, again, you can have all one color. You can go very monochromatic, or you can change, make it moody. And you can just change anything. You can put a paper over them, and that'll go. Like if the paper's a gradient, like gradient papers, then you don't even need to add a gradient. You can just clip it to it, and it'll look good. Here, so like if you have, so this is here. If I go back to Wanderlust and add, let's see, if I add this one here, it gives a gradient already. And this is Wendy's bokeh gradient paper. And so I literally just clip, and she has a whole bunch in here, so you can just keep clipping and just pick whatever you want. And then you can add your elements accordingly. You can get rid of those elements. Here, let me go real quick to show you this one. So, huge Harry Potter fan. Took my daughters to see The Cursed Child for Christmas. And so what I did is, in the gradient, I added the colors. Here we go. Go all the way down. Okay, so here's the gradient for the tickets. Oh. Cancel here. There we go. And so this is the colors. You've got your Ravenclaw, Slytherin, Hufflepuff, and Gryffindor colors. So one thing I don't love about this is that it's okay here because the blue and the yellow goes to green, but I don't actually like the orange. What you can always do is if you click a layer above, you can go and, so this one's easy for me because I have the actual paint palette, but you don't have to. So like I can go to the red, and I can go, always take a soft brush, like a soft round brush, and don't do it like full. And I can go more like this, and then the yellow kind of going into it, so that it's not really as much of a gradient as it's the individual colors. So if you see that, and then if you notice this one, you can see um, you can see the actual like texture, and you'll probably want that. That's because this layer's overlay. So close this layer down, put this one on, and change this one and change it to overlay, and you'll get that same, like you can see the white edges and the, the anything that adds it distressing. But I actually like the original one better. And then I just added elements that match the colors, and that's it. And that's how you use these gradient templates. Thank you so much for listening to me for a very, very long time. I